My name is Swan, king of effortless rivers mercenary, of the estuary, duke of beaks, holder of throats, lord of the white feather. This is my manor. A safe seat, snug among boroughs cast out on the periphery, my ministry hissing on the slippery edges. I am pimp of the tributaries, bypasses and feeder lanes, a dealer at dusk, gliding in low over the business parks and reservoirs. My logo silhouetted on shopping centres, in retail outlets, on banners, masts and letterheads. My name stencilled, sprayed, taken in vain, chanted again and again in the vacant precinct, in the swept-through pedestrian zone. There is cursing in the empty carriage, blaspheming in the half-sold-out arena. There is profanity, bland, blunt and abundant, unsettling the sparse congregation, practicing obedience under charitable roofs, in strip-lit community halls, in back rooms decorated by committee, where membership is free, where car parking is adequate, where donations are accepted, where I know I'm not wanted. This is where I belong, the stretch on which I was born. I call out across the water, blow my horn. My name is Swan. But there is silence. For all that neck, I am voiceless, speechless, dumb, here without ticket or number, but tagged, labelled, clearly marked, one of many at the night game, one of many fit for the long queue, one of many ready to fly out to the sound of breaking glass, to the tune of busy sirens, to the boom of a white wing beating. I will show you concrete clean as Arctic drift, walls with their blue tattoos removed, vaults and underpassages clad in brittle plastic, where yesterday's messages are scoured out with bleach, where heron neck the ready eye serves its grey surveillance in mute frames. What was that you said? I said. What did you say? I said. What was that you said? I'm sorry, I may have a memory as long as my gullet, but it's dry. Watch me hoop vodka down its length to remember where I left off, to forget where I was headed. One more to soothe my rough feather belly. One more to whet my white appetite. I am not drunk. I am anointed. Duchy of screw tops and straws, Dauphin of ring pulls and foil, prince, oh prince of pipes. I hold my nose in the air and vent smoke through my bony nostrils as I slide past. Loose, though not free, I slide past. You'll notice I raise no objections to being tied. There is ink under my wing that identifies my stock and strain, but do not ask me to name a line of kings that stretches backwards into absurdity. Do not ask who I vote for I do not vote. The men in port blazers may count me as the Queen's. I am loyal only to my own silent advisers, and those I hold dear in my hand screen. They know my movements, they like my status. I am of the self-appointed, self-elected, self-published. Listen, the wind sings in the razor wire that stretches out along the perimeter, but its pitch is beyond our register. On the bank, the dogs are hysterical, threshing at their masters' leashes as I slide past, loose but not free. Follow me. Upstream, where the intake hums, where the outlet returns, a berth of dead fish, silent among the thin yellow reeds and slowly greening bottles and trolleys and hoops and tires and wires. There are corners of this water known only to itself, where the algae rots the oxygen and shopping carts steal beneath the surface. Cages for pikes to fence their shark dreams in. But I do not visit old veins. I have new wounds to pursue, silver avenues to open up. You may well whisper, have we not been here before? But I choose not to listen. Blame the soft down, the wadding stuffed into my ears. I intend to keep my course and navigate the narrow way without a past to haunt my run, shaking off the fog, kicking hard against the current to shun the quiet creeks and brooks and placid sanctuaries. Find me instead, high on the level or over the limit, where the fumes dust the foliage and the canal fingers its way into the air park at night, where the ponds lie blind, still and barely breathing, flat out on their black backs as the undercarriage drops, as the turbines rewind with a shrill whistle. We descend on schedule, heavily coming down, always coming down heavily. There may be ripples on the water, but I do not show my feathers ruffle. I show no one my white belly. I keep it tight and tucked in. I hide it down in the oil of the shallows I patrol. This is my parish, a district without mystery, yet opulent. In privacy, the cameras turn their stiff necks again over the fence, gathering in packs to record the traffic, the trade, the swap, the exchange, the drop, the wait, the endless wait for the last bus out of the depot, for the last bottle off the top shelf, for the clock to tick at last into overtime. Follow me home on the stopping service. Past the allotments and backyards, past a sweep of middle-rise apartment blocks beyond the recreation ground with its abandoned pavilion and blighted cedars and solitary dog walker. Let me leave you here at the end of the long gardens, with their floodlit porches and blue-tiled pools, at the end of the long run by the terminus sheds and right to buy tenements. Let me leave you here, for I have business to attend to, for I have issues to deal with, for there are things I cannot show you now, for I am so tired, for I am so very, very tired. My head is lead heavy, and I need to hang my hooked and aching neck up for the night. You may well think you have the flat measure of this acreage, ownership over the resting sediment, patronage of the unstirred perfumes and aromas that circulate through the closed arcade, a polished authority as I glide over the dull terrazzo and the hushed mall where the night shift cleaners hum their routine behind the shut glass. But consider, you will never know the secrets of Swan. You cannot imagine the poverty, the wealth nor worth. You cannot comprehend the pleasure or penance, the warm blessings or cold misery of Swan. Lonely on the artificial lake, watch me from a distance. I appear to possess the dignity of a dying admiral. But close up and lit under the forecourt's flicker, replayed in low definition, I am nothing but another customer, another grunt, another John. You may well whisper, I am the same as you. We are the same as each other. No, I cry. My name is Swan, captain of abandoned gravel pits, padrone of drowned-out dreams, mayor of weirs, wells, filters and springs. I will meet you here in the source of the morning, for I have things to fix now and then work to do. I will meet you here again when the cars are still parked in their private driveways, when the first queues are forming at morning bus stops. Until then, you will never know the secrets of Swan. You can never know the river-deep dreams of Swan, and no one will know sleep like Swan's sleep, or love like Swan's love, and no one will know death like Swan's death, for Swan's death is measured without instrument, without gauge, without rule or recipe, for Swan's death is unthinkable, is unimaginable. For what, after all, does he conjure or pluck from his sweet plum brain? What, after all, stirs in his soft bird skull? What does he think? This dark passing, this slow drift, This long haul is all for. There is no answer as there is no question, just that we find him without a spill of ambition, washed up on the dirty fringes of the city at the day's edge, where the commuters log in, log out, and Swan's sideways eye, black as a berry, unblinking and glistening in the sodium of evening street lighting, a pearl of buckshot, a hot full stop to all he isn't thinking, to all he has never thought. Permanent resident of this orbit, going nowhere, like the moon, playing, now you see me, now you don't. Swan, on your newly seeded lawn in the half-light, Swan, a shadow moving behind your fine net curtain, Swan coming forward out of the slow, dark, Swan lost between episodes and tasteless adventure, Swan drunk on sugar and hooks and syrup and needles, Swan dreaming of rivers, of knife fights, of feathers, of white bones, of bottles, of honour. Swan wakes briefly from his sleep, hisses. To be alive is only to be woken briefly from sleep. Hisses, I'll not remember a beam of this, when the morning shutters are up on the day and he returns to the tangle of weeds that knot at his ankles and pull him down into the river green of sleep again. Cold ozone spins off the surface of the water where the tiny night insects are forgetfully drunk and the dark is as safe as doorways and the houses turn their backs to the drifting downstream that rolls past, slow as a hearse, silent as ivy and black as a policeman's boot. Swan noses his head into his feathers and searches for the still hours left in the potted night before the doorstep milk stands fresh for thieving. And on the bank, the river mist tickles the burr of the dewing blades, and low in the shadows on the landscaped rise, by the bins and tower blocks, a body lies folded over on itself. It brings a wary inquisition from the snouting foxes who offer it silence and suspicion equally. And is it breathing? And is it? And is it Swan? For a squinting second you are drained of blood and reason, and then it can't be. A laughing fox cub coughs and runs off for trickery elsewhere. For it is October. For it is 3 a.m. For nothing is in focus here. For nothing is quite in focus. A smoulder of illusion holds between the umbras and penumbras at play beneath the blue trees' reach, and smooking over the recreation ground. A fog veils a thin history that saw glistening boxers spar, bare-knuckled for money and poems that heard pistols snap their fingers for honour and trinkets out on the heath where the king once hunted, where villainy prospered here, that is neither here nor there, on the limit of jurisdiction, even at the boundary. We wait to be let out. We wait to be let in. We wait for Swan, carrier of tide, sovereign of strokes, baron of backwater billets and basins and acres and furlongs and creeks. Swan, at the junction of the day, arrives pale without a trace of night in the vein of his feathers, and the morning slowly follows him in, as if nothing at all had happened, as if nothing was all about to happen again. Grazie mille. Grazie mille.